Hello everyone and welcome back to Coded by Jade. This video is in support of my summer goal to strengthen my proficiency in other languages than Python. If you've watched my video on the frameworks I'm learning this summer to boost my CV, you'll know I'm working on my JavaScript skills to eventually use React.js effectively. Since that video, I've completed the introductory course of React using Codecademy. Since then, whilst I have a strong grasp on the concept of React components and components interacting with each other, I would like to expand on my JavaScript skills from the ground up before progressing. I do have experience of JavaScript, but web development is something that I do not dabble in often. In this video, I'll be showing you my latest mini JavaScript project using HTML and CSS alongside JavaScript, and the code used to achieve the result. So keep on watching to see the end result. Before I continue this video, I would really appreciate it if you like this video and subscribe, turning on post notifications to help support me on this channel. And stay tuned with all things computer science, from tech reviews, coding tutorials, and how to get into computer science, from academia to self-led explorations. As you've read from the title of this video, the aim of this mini project is to create a web page that changes the color of the background randomly with the click of a button. This was the end product. As you can see, the button and rgba description are somewhat centered in the web page. When the button is clicked, the background color automatically changes to random new rgba values, and that rgba value is updated to the screen. In case you don't know, rgba is a color value. The RGB initials, which range from 0 to 255, stand for red, green, and blue, while the A initial is the alpha channel, which specifies the opacity of that color, ranging from 0 to 1, where 0 is fully transparent and 1 is opaque. Okay, so now that we've seen the end product, it's time to get into coding the actual program. Okay, so I started off by creating an index.html file, and what I'm going to do first is create a boiler template for HTML. I'm not going into any of the metadata because I didn't think that was needed for this project. So of course we will have the style tags for the CSS, as I'm going to do everything inline. And of course the script tags. So first thing I did is I created two div elements within each other. One div element is going to hold the color of the background, and the other one's going to center both the button and the rgba value. And then let's create their respective IDs, so background, and of course rgba. So I'm going to create a button within the inmost div element, and that's going to be button on click random color, and we're going to style this button later, so creating a class for button and label it randomize background color. And then of course we need to have a paragraph element. Oh, I just realized I want to label this center instead, and the paragraph element is labeled rgba. And the initial background I'm going to set to Alice Blue, so, and the rgba values for Alice Blue are 240, 248, 255, and 1. And we just want to make sure that the background fits the whole screen no matter what the size of the browser is, so let's set that to 100%, as well as the height. Okay, so now let's do something about this random color function. So what happens with onClick is that when you press the button, then it runs whatever JavaScript function is, in this case, random color. So we're going to create a function. And what we're going to do is, I'm going to use a list for each rgba value. So to do that, I'm going to create an array because we use arrays in JavaScript. So, and it'll be empty at first. And I'm going to use a for loop to randomly choose a value between 0 and 255 to fill in the array. So for initializing a variable I to 0, it's going to do the rgba values. So if we're counting from 0, for 0 would be R, 1 would be G, and 2 would be B. So therefore, we're going to count up to 2. So it must be less than 3. We're going to make sure that the I increments with each loop. So now we want to pick a color between 0 and 255. To do that, I'm going to say the color variant. And I'm going to use the JavaScript function for finding a random number. Which is math.floor, math.random. And then we want it to go up to 255. I'm just going to add another bracket because we want it to start at 1. I'm at 0 even. And then that position will be set to that random color variant. Now, the alpha variant, as I said before, is quite different from the RGB because the RGB is from 0 to 255, whereas the alpha is between 0 and 1. So we don't want to apply the same for loop to the alpha variant. So for deciding value for the alpha, we're going to pick a number between 0 and 1. And we know that the color palette right now has gone up to the value 2. So we're going to do the next one at the position 3. That's using math.random. And it's going from 0 to 1. And I don't want it to be too long, so I'm going to round it up to 2 decimal places using the toFixed method. Next, we're going to want to add all of these numbers together. So I'm going to create a variable called rgba expression. And this is going to be set to create an rgba value. So for that one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it with each value. So of course, there's 4 values to fill in, and those values are each of the color palettes positions. So of course that's 0 to represent the red, 1 for green, 2 for blue, and 3 for the alpha variant. And close quotations. Next, I'm actually going to console log that value just so you can see in specs what the actual value was, even though it's printed to the screen, just as a debugging measure. And what we want to do is we want to actually change the value. So to do that, of course, we're going to use document.getElementById. And the element we wish to get, of course, is background, as this is where the background color is set. we want to access the styling and change the background color to the rgba expression. And of course, we want to change the contents of the rgba ID here, which is in the p element, to the new content. So get element by ID. And this one's slightly different because we want to access the inner HTML of that p element. And of course, we want to set that to the rgba expression. With the code written so far, as we can see that the majority of the job is done. It creates a button and the respective RGBA value, and once you click the button, this automatically updates. But I don't really like the styling of this, so I'm gonna write some code quickly to show how to make this look better, pretty much. So there you go. That was a quick run through of the mini JavaScript projects I did to help build my JavaScript skills. And as you can see, this is the exact same as the end product that I showed you earlier. You click the button, the color changes randomly. So don't forget to like this video, and thanks for watching, and I hope you tune in for my next video. Bye.